Hello everyone, I'm Laura McIntosh and this is Bringing It Home. Now we are the best in fresh. We find the hottest chefs, we travel to the best locations, and we will dazzle you with mouth-watering recipes and bring it all home to you.
That's bigger than my head.
Have an oyster. Here's to California. Make this really light. Don't scare me.
Well, hello everyone, and thanks for joining me. We're cooking it up and bringing it home to you, nice and fresh. Now today, we're taking it right from the garden, and today you're in for a special treat. We're gonna give you a cooking lesson, and of course, show you how to do all of these recipes at home. What's the trend? Field to fork, fresh is best. We're gonna learn all about it. This and a whole lot more today on Bringing It Home. Lexus is proud to support Bringing It Home's message of sustainability and freshness. We encourage you to know the people behind your food and to enjoy your pursuit of perfection. In-season freshness is the key ingredient to making every meal taste the best. So here's a look at what's fresh around the country. No matter where you live in the country, whether it's the East, the West, the South, or Middle America, here are my top 3 picks for what's fresh in each of those areas during all 4 seasons. Here's what's fresh during the summer in the East: berries, peppers, and zucchini. If you're in the West, here's what to look for: nectarines, watermelon, and garlic. Here's a tip for you Southerners: check out tomatoes, squash, and peaches. If you're melting in the Midwest, cool down with beets, blackberries, and blueberries. So now you know, creating easy and delicious meals is a snap. The key ingredient is to keep it fresh. Let's meet our chef today, who also happens to be an instructor here at the Culinary Institute, my friend Scott Samuel.
I'm Scott Samuels. I'm a chef instructor. My job is to work with our guest chefs from around the country and world and our presenters to make sure that they have what they need and execute a tasty food and beverage plan for our events. What inspired me to be a chef is when I was young, my mom cooking in the kitchen and the smells that were coming out, and I always wanted to help. My first job was 14 and I was a prep cook in a restaurant for the fun of it. And then I kind of got the feel for the adrenaline and working with food, and had my first chef job when I was 19, working with my hands and getting to actually create something that satisfies somebody else and nourishes them. What I love most about being a chef is working with fresh ingredients. I'm an instructor now, so in my career I've been a chef running restaurants, but I found that the actual educational aspect is what I really enjoyed. Serving customers is great. Teaching the future chefs of America a concept of where their food comes from and how to cook with it simply is what I like about being a chef.
Thank you so much, Scott, for being with me.
My pleasure.
And sharing with everyone at home how to make simple and easy and fun recipes.
So today we're going to make a real simple salad. We're going to make a farro blueberry salad with some Fuji apples, celery, a little bit of cucumber, and a sherry vinaigrette with fresh tarragon.
So you're going to talk to everyone about farro. For me, it's the new pasta, and
Yeah.
I think everybody should eat it. Can you talk to us a little bit about it?
So this is the raw grain of farro. It's an ancient grain. It's one of the oldest grains known.
For the Romans.
Yes.
Yes.
It's also known as spelt. So we can cook it like pasta or you can cook it like risotto. For this recipe, I want to do the simple way, boiling it like pasta, and it takes about 15 to 20 minutes
Okay.
on a low simmer.
Where did spelt come? I guess the Germans wanted to take farro and claim it for their own.
Yes.
Right? It's as good as any idea, right? All right.
I think it's a good one.
So this is what it looks like when it's done.
So kind of like orzo. So it's cooked, and I've cooked it to the point it almost looks like brown rice.
So Scott, my only disadvantage is when I cook pasta, I know it's done because I throw it up against the wall, and if it sticks, voila, we're done. This I can't.
I've never tried that. No, you can't.
You can.
Taste it.
Taste
Take
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Taste and go. All right. So how do we create our salad?
Okay. Well, first we're gonna make the little simple vinaigrette. You
Okay.
can help me with this.
All right.
Olive oil, some sherry vinegar, and I'm playing with the 3-to-1 vinaigrette ratio.
Okay.
3 parts oil to 1 part acid, be it the vinegar or lemon juice, lime juice. A little bit of fresh minced garlic. I'm gonna go with kosher salt, fresh ground black pepper.
Okay.
And then herb of choice for today, I like tarragon. I don't want to chop it until the very last second. When I do chop it, I don't want to chop it too much because it gets black and bitter.
For those of you cigar rollers out there, that's really what he did. Or you know, the old timers used to roll their own cigarettes. You just roll that up and then chop it. And ooh, the aromas from that are fantastic.
So about a tablespoon, we got that licorice aroma. So that's done. This can be done ahead of time. You could use it for any sort of salad. In this case, it's going to be for this pasta salad. So some other ingredients we're going to do would be diced apple.
The apple you picked today.
And right behind us, these trees lining our building are apple trees. We have a garden across the street, 2 acres, where we're growing tomatoes, zucchini, squash, melons, basil, blackberries, strawberries. We have chickens. We have our own eggs coming into the restaurant. So we're making the most of the valley.
When it's in season, it's at its peak of flavor. When it's at its peak of flavor, it tastes the best. I don't care what anyone says. It's true.
Let's get our bowl and start building our salad.
Okay.
So our apple. Let's add the rest of the ingredients. I did a nice brunoise of celery.
Very nice.
Or diced celery.
The brunoise is the type of cut, correct?
Yeah, it's a little dice of 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch. We teach our students this cut.
Okay.
So at home, you can just chop it.
I was just going to say, do I have to do that at home?
No, this is fancy. But
it is. It looks beautiful.
So building our salad, celery, apple, a little bit of cucumber, some shallot.
Okay.
So
and the shallot is lighter than an onion. It's not as pungent. So that's probably why you're putting with the apple, correct?
Yep. We're going to add some Italian parsley here. And our farro. And go ahead and add the vinaigrette. I'd say about 75% of it.
Okay.
And then we can dress it later when we serve it.
I'm a little nervous around you because I don't go
because
to the
of my hat?
I wasn't going to say anything, but since you did.
Yes, the hat does it all. I want to add some blueberries to it because...
Interesting. Why are you doing that?
Well, they're in season.
Okay.
And they have a nice bite.
Yes.
And they have nice color.
Right.
So I'm thinking of flavor first. I'm thinking texture. I'm thinking color and visual and shape. So this is it.
This is a gorgeous salad. So easy.
We have a little bit of a bib leaf. I could just make a little bed here to finish my salad.
I love that you're using everything fresh, and of course it's summer wrap-up, so it's out of the garden. Don't forget these recipes are on our website, bringingithome.com. Let's see what it looks like in the bowl. This is a finished recipe. If you're getting into farro, check out on Facebook another recipe from Dusky Estes. You garnished with this beautiful dressing. I'm gonna grab a spoon and garnish it with a taste. How's that?
Sounds good.
We'll be right back.
Thanks.
That
could use
to
more
me,
salt, but I'm there.
Oh, I wouldn't do, oh, I love it. Did you know the first recorded watermelon harvest was in Egypt, taking place nearly 5,000 years ago? Mark Twain was the one that said, after eating a watermelon, he now knows what angels eat. I found out how it was grown with the agronomist, Mike Taylor. Take a look. Well, there's a lot of recipes that you can make using watermelon, but the very best way to truly enjoy your heart
Laura,
is just
excuse me, excuse me, but there's a lot of work that goes into producing this watermelon before you're able to take that first bite.
Everyone, I want to introduce you to Mike Taylor. He is actually the agronomist. And Mike, tell everyone what that means.
I work with both our production people and also with the growers. We've selected the best growers for each area that we grow in. Irrigation practices, fertilization, pest control, harvest. Everything's an important part of that process to get to where you want to take a bite of this, of a melon that looks like this.
And I'm holding it and it's dripping and I just really want to take a bite. But before I do, I can attest to how difficult it is to raise watermelon because I've tried to do it in my garden and forget it. I can never get a darn good watermelon in my garden at all. So bravo to you guys. Watermelon need heat.
Yeah, our products need warm growing areas. That's why we come to the San Joaquin Valley. We go back into Arizona. We go into Mexico in the winter.
Right.
And then back into Yuma in the spring.
We can get it year-round, which is nice. The funny thing for me is watermelon is 96% water. How much water do these take? And yet they need a lot of heat too. So you're always pumping water out on these melons?
Actually, watermelons, despite the name, are very efficient water users. We use about 1.5 acres of water per acre here, which is much less than many of the crops here in San Joaquin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's actually amazing,
Yeah.
to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
These are personal sized watermelon. One is perfect for me to eat every day. I love watermelon, but Pure Heart really comes from the fact that what is inside of this watermelon is the middle of a big watermelon.
Right.
Just last night, I took a spoon and I did a no-no. I ate the middle of a big watermelon because I wanted the pure innards, the pure heart of the melon.
Well, that's exactly why it's called Pure Heart, because you don't have in the old traditional melon that other part. You're just getting the heart.
Right.
Thin rind, as you can see, so you have a very large percent of usable product. All this is selected by hand.
You know, by now you'd think they would have come up with a different mechanization or a different way to harvest these darn things. They're still done by hand the way they were originally harvested way back when.
Right. Then on the sorting machines, we'll select by size.
You do the picking for us. Last question, pollination. Self-pollinating, do you bring in bees? How does that work?
Well, we actually plant what we call a pollinizer every 4th plant. So we also bring in bees because that's absolutely necessary.
And it's very natural, which I love. Can I take a bite yet?
Still got a lot of work to do, but you can start out and take a bite.
I'll fuel up and then we'll get to work.
All right.
Oh my gosh, delicious. All right, let's get to work.
All right. Nice.
Oh, all right. Yeah! That's the pollinator.
And you can see how different that is.
Completely.
So the only function of this pollinator plant is to give pollen to the female plant.
Female.
You wouldn't want to buy the pollinator.
I had no idea there were even white watermelon, but not for consumption. What does it taste like?
Oh, it tastes like a cucumber?
Well, it's a cousin, right? It tastes just like a cucumber with more water. That's amazing. All right. Is this our cue to go work?
This is our cue to go work.
All right, let's do it. There you go. That's what makes a Pure Heart so pure and delicious. Woo! That's a workout. Do you know what day is the official end of summer? It's always the day of the autumn equinox, which falls around September 22nd every year. Let's head back into the kitchen where Chef Scott Samuel has another delicious recipe for us. We are bringing home this beautiful, gorgeous basket that I would love for you to deliver to my house every morning.
This is our market basket. We have a Deer Park garden, about 2 acres right across the street. We have 800 heirloom tomato plants, 300 padron peppers, 200 squash plants, cherry tomatoes, Asian fig tree, apple trees, blackberries, sage, little patty pan squash, sunflowers. Everything that we picked, I'm incorporating the padron peppers in our recipe, fresh basil, and zucchini.
Okay, so really the big buzzword for us is, please use what's in your garden.
Please use what's in your garden.
Yes.
And we're trying to teach the American public and the industry how to be a little bit healthier, from fast food restaurants on down to fine dining.
Because it matters.
It matters.
So this recipe, you know, I love ratatouille.
So what is ratatouille?
Ratatouille is the type of cuts of the preparation of the dish.
Right. So it's a traditional French dish made with vegetables from the garden.
All right.
And in this case, we've diced them all about 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. But the base is traditionally going to be onions, peppers, tomatoes, and zucchini. Today we're going to serve it with grilled steak.
Oh, wonderful. All right, show us how to do it.
What I like to do is cook the garlic first. So I'm using some olive oil, and I'm going to cook my garlic and cook it into little garlic chips.
Oh, great.
So that I create a flavorful garlic base. And I've sliced my garlic really thin.
Oh, real thin, yeah.
And then I'll have a garlic-infused olive oil as the base of it. And I've kind of picked this recipe based on the fact that our padron peppers are a Spanish type of pepper, which are not too spicy. You might think it looks like a serrano or a jalapeno.
Yeah, it does.
But it has a really mild flavor.
I've always said how to pick out a hot pepper. The smaller the pepper, the hotter the pepper. But in this case,
the smaller the pepper, the less hot the pepper. It's true.
Not, right.
If they get too large, they're too spicy.
Just the opposite. All right, these are beautiful.
All right, so this is what this should look like, and this will be an ingredient that we add later to our ratatouille. The next step is to add our diced onions.
Some onions, okay.
So we're going to cook this down on medium-low heat until they start to caramelize. And for the peppers, I'm just cutting them pretty chunky, and then chop it roughly. And we're building this ratatouille in the steps that are needed to create the flavor. I wouldn't want to put all the ingredients at once because then I'd have boiled vegetables. I'm trying to cook it in sequence so that I develop flavor and texture and get the most out of each vegetable.
Now these heirloom tomatoes I want to show you, I'm assuming they are these.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of different varieties in the garden right now. I picked a variety of them. And this is a technique I learned long ago from one of my first chefs when I was 19, is to add the tomatoes. It kind of deglazes the bottom of the pot or the pan.
Nice.
And then while this is going, let's do the next step. We want to saute this zucchini. I will season with a touch of black pepper and a touch of cayenne for a little bit of heat.
Now we're going to talk about a steak, correct?
Yep, grilling steak.
Yes. It's one of the biggest questions I get here in California, as we all know. We can grill year-round, really.
Yep.
So a lot of folks love charcoal. I know I do. People have gotten away from cooking with charcoal, but those that do love it. We're needing to re-educate them as how to cook a beautiful steak on a charcoal barbecue.
Okay, so the first step is to make sure you have a hot enough grill.
And the heat, the heat.
So this has been warming up for a while. We have some nice coals, oil it, and then I like to season the grill.
Well, now I've never seen that before, really?
This is I like to season while it's still moist with the oil, and the salt actually sticks to it, and it helps season the meat and actually helps it not stick.
How about that, you guys? Now that is a secret ingredient right there. I love it.
So this whole beautiful garden mixture can go right into the oven.
Oh, it's very nice.
And this should be done by the time our steak is done.
Great, okay. Best recommendation for getting the charcoals ready. I dump my bag of charcoals in there, I light it. How long do I let it sit?
For about a half an hour to 45 minutes.
Okay.
You want it until you don't see any more black on the charcoal, and you just see ash. Right now, as you can tell, it's pretty hot.
Yes.
And you want it that hot.
Okay.
So I'm about 4 inches above the charcoal.
Okay.
And I've seasoned this with a little bit of thyme, garlic, and olive oil.
Yes.
And a little bit of salt.
Next, we'll salt the chef.
Season to taste, please.
We're going to let these cook. We've got the ratatouille in the oven. Perfectly grilled steak on the barbecue with wonderful charcoal that we let heat up for a half hour. Let's see what it looks like.
Take it off the grill, and you want to let it rest in a warm spot.
Oh, in a warm spot.
In a warm spot.
Okay.
So the plate's warm, it's near my stove.
We want the steak to relax a little bit before we eat it.
Right.
So we're letting it relax and cool down a bit.
You wouldn't want to put it right on the plate. If you've ever cut into a steak right off the grill, the juices are all released.
Yeah.
So we want it to be a juicy steak. It's about almost an inch thick, so 5 minutes is about right.
Okay, all right.
The ratatouille, I brought it out of the oven, just kind of finishing it here. This is pretty much exactly what it should look like. I just kind of take these out at the end. Let's plate this dish up. One other thing that I'm going to add to this at the very last second is fresh basil.
I love fresh basil.
So I take the stems off. The stems are a little bitter. I'm going to do that cigar method again.
You are? You're going to roll a cigar.
And we're going to do what we call chiffonade. That's just taking an herb and cutting it very thin. Now I'm ready to serve it. So let's make this look beautiful. It's garnished with a couple tomatoes.
From your beautiful garden.
Shaved pecorino cheese.
Look at that.
Salt. We'll place our steak there.
There we go. Another fun recipe. Easy. You were taught here, and the recipe's on our website. Oh, that's great. Oh, I love these garlic chips.
Now, are you as anxious to check out this garden as I am? Let's check in with one of Chef Scott's students to give us our very own private tour.
My name is Jack Gingrich. I'm a student. I also work in the gardens in the afternoons, and we're out here pretty much every day harvesting for both the teaching kitchen and the restaurant, and also kind of cultivating the plants, making sure that they have everything they need. This is our smallest block. These are about 65-foot rows. Our other blocks are 100 or 110-foot rows. And in here we have our padron peppers. Padron peppers, when they're at optimal size, look just like this. And as Chef Scott was saying, kind of the best way to serve them is to just saute them in a hot pan and then hit them with a little sea salt and just pop them right in your mouth. Also in this block we have a row of strawberries. We'll get a pint or two a day that we can take up and they'll use in pastry, or one of the chefs will use it as, you know, for demonstration. This is my favorite time of day, to be honest, to be out here and get them because they're warm still. Same with the tomatoes, you can almost kind of taste the sunshine in them.
Taste the sunshine we will. Let's get back in the kitchen for our last recipe.
All right, everyone, we are back and we're going to talk about grilling a little bit more, but not with a steak, with a watermelon.
Grilled watermelon and roasted fig salad with garden greens, microgreens, fennel, whatever type of greens. So kind of a plain sweet and savory together. That. You could either do it raw or you can grill it. We want to have a hot grill because we don't want it to melt. We want to just sear it, and then we're going to have everything else ready to plate. So the concept is warm grilled watermelon with cold salad on it. And figs are a perfect play on it for texture.
Okay, let's do it. Pretty big chunks.
Yeah, I want it to hold on the grill. I don't want to do small chunks. After it comes off, then I can go ahead and cut it down if I like. A little
bit of salt on the watermelon. That's how my dad actually likes to eat watermelon, with a little bit of salt on it.
The salt draws out flavor, so it takes that deliciousness and makes it even more.
Yeah, just popped it up.
So same thing with the steak, salt side down. We'll just let that go for a second, and while we're doing this, let's make up a little salad. You want to serve it right off the grill. You don't want it to sit around for a while. It'll get a little soggy.
Okay.
So I have some fennel that I've shaved, so I'm going to dress it with some fresh lime juice.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So making our simple vinaigrette as we go.
Again, the parts, right? The lime and a little bit of the olive oil.
Olive oil, some richness. Add a little bit of salt to it. That's ready to go. And let's go ahead and flip our watermelon.
Okay. Let's see what it looks like. Beautiful.
And let's finish this salad.
What are we going to do with this now?
I have what is called fig syrup. You can find this at specialty stores. If you can't, you can find pomegranate molasses.
Oh, yeah.
Or balsamic.
Can I reduce down pomegranate juice to make this type of glaze?
You could do that. It's easier to take balsamic vinegar, which almost everybody has.
Yes.
So let's go and get our watermelon off the grill.
I mean, it was that fast. You saw the watermelon go on. You're watching it come off in that quick. Wow. Almost looks like chocolate syrup.
Which would also work.
I was just thinking, I was going to suggest it and see if he said anything.
A dessert application here.
Very nice.
So our grilled watermelon topped with a fresh, crunchy salad or lime juice. And then we have our roasted figs. Like I said, you could do them roasted or fresh. I just put a little bit of olive oil and salt, 350-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes.
Vegetarians eat your heart out. Even though it wasn't meant as a vegetarian salad, it certainly could be that.
We'll garnish it with a finishing salt. And here's our grilled watermelon salad.
Wow,
with roasted
Chef,
figs.
this is fantastic. And again, it was simple and easy to do. The recipes are on our website. You used everything out of the garden, but certainly do these at home. Well, thanks everyone for joining me today on Bringing It Home, and we brought you some great recipes from Chef Scott. I certainly hope you've enjoyed the cooking lesson today, and if you've got a garden, pick what's in there and use that too. Until next week, you know what to do. Keep it nice and fresh. To answer some of those great questions you're sending me. And this one, which I really love, is all about how to cut a watermelon. And I love to cut watermelon. I've made it simple and easy. I'm going to show you. Now, those big, large watermelon I know are cumbersome, but they're easy to cut. Let me show you how. Take them in the house and cut them in half, and then take that half and cut off the end and set it upright. Now you have a stable watermelon that you can just cut all the rind, outside rind off. And you can tell when you're looking down at the watermelon where the white of the rind meets the red flesh. That's kind of where you want to just cut it. Cut off that rind and discard. Now for those personal size watermelon, which I actually love, they're my favorite because the inside red flesh is all juicy and sweet. Cut off the ends to stabilize it, and then just work your way around the melon. Get rid of that rind and use that juicy, sweet, personal-sized watermelon for all of your favorite recipes.
Next time on Bringing It Home, we're going south of the border for some simple and authentic recipes crafted just for you by my friend Chef Carolyn Barrett.
I made this one especially for you.
Join me as I travel to Mexico to discover the best and freshest in Hispanic cuisine. Lexus is proud to support Bringing It Home's message of sustainability and freshness. We encourage you to know the people behind your food and to enjoy your pursuit of perfection.
Some of its fresh flavor.
Okay.
That was
One of your fans.
You know.
All right. Excuse me, I got that.
Cayenne got you?
I did.
That's exactly what I wanted. Well, not that.
Laura, watch your head, bud. Laura.
Didn't know.
Looking for simple ways to keep it fresh at home? I've made it easy with my new cookbook, Laura McIntosh from the Field. You will discover delicious recipes selected from some of the world's finest chefs. You can also order DVDs of the show you've just seen, just for you, nice and fresh.